The EU is reopening its door to China. A set of major trade barriers between China and the European Union are about to be lifted, it was revealed today. Officials from China and the EU are now fine-tuning the new agreement and will make an announcement shortly. The news, first published by the German daily Süddeutsche Zeitung, was confirmed by the Office of European Parliament President Roberta Metsola. It has always been the European Parliament's intention to have the sanctions lifted and resume relations with China, a spokesman said. Now, the EU raised heavy barriers against China after Brussels became very close to Washington, D.C., but that relationship has suddenly splintered. About 7 years ago, the US-led Five Eyes espionage agencies started circulating stories to the media that the 30 million Chinese of ethnic Uyghur background were being genocided. Although the allegation was quickly debunked, the Uyghur population was actually growing faster than that of other ethnicities. Still, the EU used it to place a series of sanctions against Chinese entities and followed US advice to back out of an already agreed EU-China comprehensive agreement on investment. That would have created a win-win trade relationship between China and Europe. Beijing responded relatively mildly with sanctions on 5 individual European parliamentarians who were most active in using the fake story to damage trade, and against think tanks such as the overtly pro-Western Roberta Institute of Chinese Studies. Western mainstream media have steadfastly refused to correct the debunked Uyghur genocide narrative, making it very difficult to rebuild bridges, although the Chinese have been making big diplomatic efforts in that regard. But a small number of Europeans soon started raising warning signals that the EU was on the wrong side of history. In 2023, a European Council of Foreign Relations study warned that the EU's subservient attitude to the US was the essence of vassalization. But it wasn't until after the return of Donald Trump to US leadership this year that the EU has shown real signs of independence from Washington. EU-China talks took place earlier this month for European nations to withdraw their wall of tariffs against the import of Chinese electric cars. The EU said Chinese cars would be allowed in as long as the Chinese agreed to charge artificially higher prices, preventing consumers from being attracted by the better value of the imported Chinese cars. Now, the present talks are likely to lift some of the main trade barriers between China and the EU, but not all of them. Business people on both sides will be hoping that the comprehensive agreement on investment will be revived. So the talks that are taking place today will be preliminary steps, with both sides agreeing to work together on improving trade and diplomatic relations in the immediate future. The biggest irony of all, it was actually Donald Trump's actions that opened the eyes of European officials. Sometimes good results come from bad actions. What can I say? Peace.